Facts First presents. People are developing a strange condition that might prove there's a parallel universe. Do you think that Curious George has a tail? Most people think he does, but he doesn't. Did you know the Bugs Bunny's friends are Looney Tunes, T-U-N-E-S, not Looney Tunes, T-O-O-N-S? If you're just realizing these things now, well, you're not alone. One woman realized her memories didn't sync up with reality, and that led her to try and find others who felt the same. And she found some people and discovered that what we might be living is a more complex world than we initially thought. People are developing a strange condition that might prove there is a parallel universe. Fiona Broom calls herself a paranormal expert. Over the years, she's experienced her fair share of unexplained phenomena. Since the 80s, she's experienced spirits, shades, and other ghostly entities. She's made it her life's mission to figure out the connection between the living and the ghostly plane. The strangest thing Fiona says that she ever experienced occurred when she was invited to speak at Dragon Con in 2009. This sci-fi fantasy convention was being held in Atlanta, and she was thrilled to attend. She was sitting in the green room at the conference when she started a conversation with a few other speakers, and it was then she realized a strange similarity amongst them all. Each of the members remembered South African President Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s. They also remembered the coverage of his funeral afterwards. The only problem was that Mandela was released from prison in 1990 and lived for another 23 years. He didn't die until 2013. The members of the panel believed it was just a coincidence that they all remembered things that way. They figured that they'd fallen victim to the misinformation that was circulating at the time. But Fiona didn't believe it was just a coincidence. Her editor suggested that she create a website and dedicate it to this strange phenomenon, which she dubbed the Mandela effect. You've probably heard of it. Almost immediately, people were logging onto her site to share their thoughts. When the site was first launched, the conversation was pretty light. People were comparing the Mandela effect with works of science fiction. It wasn't long, though, before people were coming forward with their own accounts, and their memories of Mandela's death were identical to Fiona's. The more that people heard about the site, the more people were posting to it. Many had identical memories of things that never existed or ever happened. Some even had alternate historical timelines that they remembered. When people realized that many of them thought that the Berenstain Bears was actually spelled Berenstain, the Mandela effect became a viral sensation. Discussions have been popping up all over the world about the Mandela effect. Rather than saying "mirror, mirror on the wall," the Wicked Queen in the Snow White movie actually says "magic mirror on the wall." Do you remember it that way? The most shocking scene in the Star Wars universe was when Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." But he doesn't mention Luke's name at all. He says, "No, I am your father." The Mandela effect can also affect the way that words are spelled. Is it Febreze with 2 E's and a Z, or is it Febreze with 1 E and a Z? Fruit Loops, F-R-U-I-T, or Fruit Loops, F-R-O-O-T? Skechers with a T-C-H or Skechers with just a C-H? In each one of these cases, the second spelling is the right one. The phenomenon puzzles the online community, and many people wonder if there's any real basis for it. Fiona believes that she can explain the phenomenon, and her explanation is kind of bizarre. She believes that it occurs when somebody has a clear memory of something that never happened in this reality. She believes that alternate realities are overlapping, taking us for the ride. We can be taken into a world that's just slightly different than our own, and we won't even realize it. Fiona believes that there are multiple parallel universes out there. Others think that the Mandela effect is merely feeding into misremembered information. If people have misinformation and they spread that information, well, it can spread quickly from person to person. And now with the internet and fake news taking place all around us, it's hard to take anything at face value anymore. There's really no proof that the Mandela effect is proof of a parallel universe, but it does serve as a kind of warning. Memories can be dangerously flawed. Over time, we can remember a false memory and convince ourselves that it really happened. Just because you remember something one way, it doesn't mean it actually happened that way or is even true. If you hear misinformation again and again, you'll start to believe that that misinformation is actually true information. That could be the Mandela effect, or the parallel universe that Fiona is sure exists. We may never know. What do you think? Is it parallel universes? Misinformation? Have you experienced the Mandela effect? Tell us what you misremember, and subscribe for more.